still 6 days later with people, 5 days later, talking about everybody wants their pound of flesh. They want Mason Rudolph to get suspended.
And that'll help the Browns because?
Well, that's the part of the question that I can never actually get to.
Pittsburgh fans called me knowing that the Browns are playing the Steelers in a second game, one more game, then they play them. And they're asking the commissioner to suspend him for 4 games so they don't have to watch him play.
Well, listen, he had one of his worst games, obviously 4 interceptions in that game. He's looked better against some other teams. But if he goes into, if they go into Pittsburgh and the Steelers don't have Smith-Schuster, still don't have the number 1 running back, James Conner, that is not going to be a win for Pittsburgh. I don't care how well Mason Rudolph plays.
How bad do you expect it to be now that I believe this incident has brought the Pittsburgh-Cleveland rivalry back to what it might have been back in the old days? Maybe not. I don't know. But what do you expect there?
It's going to be a dicey thing for head coaches to deal with, I think, Les, because they're, these refs obviously are human. They know what happened. Yeah. They're going to be watching this thing really closely. And I have no doubt that the Browns came out in that game on Thursday wanting to be the tougher, more physical team. And
well, that doesn't mean be a dirty team.
But in the case of the Browns during that game, I think it became that. And I'm talking about the helmet shot.
That was terrible.
So I think that's going to be Freddie's next challenge. Is he got them their emotions to show up in this rivalry, this division game, and now he's going to have to somehow temper it without losing the performance.
Jim Ingram was here last night, and I said that I'm not fond of Freddie Kitchens as head coach of this football team, but I really felt sorry for him. That was his signature game, a signature win. I had forgotten or didn't realize that Cleveland had not beaten Baltimore and Pittsburgh in the same year. That's one thing he can put on his resume. But I felt sorry for the guy.
Well, I thought that I had even started writing a column during that game saying that we need to give this guy his credit when it's due. And I thought the way he managed the game, the way he's gotten Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb to play well together without sacrificing the talents of either guy, I thought was, exemplary. So I was ready to say that. But when it came back down to it, to me, he had said that, the smartest, toughest team would win. And I don't think the smartest, toughest team won. I think they won despite themselves again in the way they handled it. They gave him 58 yards on one 81-yard drive, the only scoring drive by Pittsburgh. They gave it to him in penalties.
So what is it with the Cleveland Browns?
I don't know. I really don't. I mean, I've said
nobody
this.
condones what happened.
No, I've said this a few times. Does Freddie Kitchens have to own the pattern of personal fouls and sloppy play and lack of discipline over the course of the season? I would say yes. He's the head coach.
Except,
does he have to own this one aberrant act by Myles Garrett? I would say no, he doesn't.
No, but what you just said before that is that the players know better, but are they trying to get away? Is it almost like it's a substitute teacher? They haven't bought into Freddie yet, and they're still testing him? I know when Mangini was here, in a scrimmage or a practice, a guy would jump offside. He doesn't even waste a breath. He's running to the hill already.
Yeah, and Freddie reinstituted some of that stuff going into the Buffalo week, and I think he's gotten some better results. I just think that overall, if you're not, I'm not saying he's encouraging that kind of behavior, but he's not discouraging it enough that it's stopped. And
isn't it somewhat strange that when last year, whoever was going to be the head coach of the team, you had one guy with Bountygate, and now you have another guy that at least outsiders will look at as someone who encourages it.
Yeah, and I don't know how, like I said, I don't know how fair it is. People like to point out that they've had the most players ejected of any team now. The 3 of those came in one game. Yeah. It's not, and the last one had been in the opener, so we're talking 9-10 weeks apart. So I don't know.
Do you give him any credit for cutting down on penalties?
Yeah, he had done that. He had done that for a couple weeks, and they had done that, and that was something that needed to be said and done, and they benefited from it. So I think you have to wait until the end of the season to look at his first year in total. he's going to clearly win some games here at the end. Will he win enough games to have them challenging for the playoffs? I think he might have to show people that he's the guy that should be kept next year.
Did Roger Goodell rush to judgment on this? Could he have waited a day or two to see what would fly?
On the Garrett suspension?
Yeah.
No, I don't. I think I walked out of there that night saying, I've never seen a guy do this.
No, none of us have.
And I was, I don't want to say appalled. I'm just saying I felt like it was a really dangerous thing to do when I saw it happening in real time. So I understand why they made the decision they did. I don't understand the indefinite part of it, but we'll see what happens in appeal.
I can't tell you how many games I've seen, but I don't remember a game where I walked out or stopped watching on TV where I said, this doesn't feel like a win.
Yeah, and the players obviously said the same thing. Baker Mayfield and I think later Joel Bitonio said the same thing. So I know there are fans now. They haven't given a couple days to think about it. They believe the suspension was too heavy for Garrett, that Rudolph should have gotten something, and that the players, if they had had a chance to sit back and look at it, may not have been as damning as they were. I disagree with that part. I think the players know that what happened out there would put their health at risk if it happened to them, and certainly if this situation was turned around.
Right.
And that was Baker Mayfield. There wouldn't be anybody saying that he should be suspended for what happened.